With Darwin Núñez disappointing his owners yet again, I thought I'd put together the best list of striker replacements, and with Bournemouth winning 3-0 at Manchester United today and a positive fixture run coming up for them, I thought I'd outline the best assets as well in today's video. Starting off the video, we're going to take a look at the best replacements for Darwin Núñez. I've selected 4 players. There are others out there, but to be honest, the whole forward kind of situation in FPL at the moment is a little bit disastrous. There aren't any really kind of clear options outside of Haaland. I've outlined these 4 as I do believe they are arguably the best, but at the moment, it's very slim pickings and very difficult to kind of call. We're going to start off with Jackson. He is yet to play in game week 16, so if you are thinking about bringing him in, just wait till he has played his game. But over the past 5 game weeks, 4 goals, 1 assist, really good kind of underlying data as well to go with that. 6.9 million for him, and the fixtures coming up for Chelsea are ridiculous. We spoke about this Chelsea kind of fixture swing. It's going to be in full flow from next week. Sheffield United, Wolves, Palace, Luton, Fulham. Then they play Liverpool, but then it's Wolves as well after that. Obviously, Jackson is going to go to AFCON at some point, but you're definitely going to get at least the next 3 to 4 fixtures with him as well. So getting the Sheffield Uniteds, getting the Palace, and getting the Luton. And with the data that he is putting up and the attacking data that Chelsea are putting up as well, they're currently 3rd for XG created in the league at the moment as well. So they're definitely creating the opportunities, and Jackson is starting to put his goals away. So we'll see how he kind of gets on within the next few weeks. But Sheffield United could be a golden fixture for him at home, where he could very easily bag. So would offer himself up as a great Núñez replacement with good long-term fixtures as well. The only issue is the fact that he does jet off to AFCON in a few weeks' time. Moving on to my personal favourite second striker pick, and it is going to be Ollie Watkins. A lot of people moved to Darwin Núñez with the Ollie Watkins kind of injury news. That didn't really pan out, and now we're kind of back in this position where everyone's kind of potentially going to be clambering back to Watkins. Hasn't scored in his last 2, but I don't think that matters. I think for me, he is very much a set and forget player. Aston Villa are absolutely phenomenal at the moment as well, picking up big results this week as well with the victory over City and Arsenal as well. And now they have some very good fixtures coming up for them. Brentford away next week, who lost to Sheffield United today, then Sheffield United, then Manchester United, who just lost to Bournemouth, then Burnley, then Everton. The Newcastle game a little bit tricky, but then it's Sheffield United. So Ollie Watkins could very easily come straight back into your side, be a very much set and forget second striker, very consistent in front of goal, as you can see as well on the screen. Not the best underlying data, but still has been picking up points and has played the 2 best defences in the league. So I think it is justified the fact that he did blank over those kind of 2, but the fixtures are turning for Villa. They're a very good side as well this season, so I can see him definitely getting on the score sheet and scoring a few goals out of all the strikers on this list. Moving on to the 3rd player in this list and the thumbnail man, it is Dominic Solanke. Now for me, he offers himself up as a great short-term pick. I think you potentially could hold him a little bit longer term. You know, we will speak a little bit more about him in the next segment when we go through Bournemouth players. But for me, 4 goals, the best underlying data on this list as well. The joint first points, 6.5 million, the cheapest on this list on penalties. And Bournemouth are now 5 unbeaten with some solid fixtures coming up. Luton, Nottingham Forest, Fulham. Then it's Tottenham and Liverpool. So it's a little bit tricky to kind of justify potentially bringing in Solanke on the more kind of long-term basis, but definitely for the next 3, he could offer himself up as a fantastic option. So if you can't quite get back to Watkins potentially with Darwin, or maybe you're thinking about upgrading that 4.5 million forward sat on your bench, Solanke could be that man. Moving on to our final option, and this one again is kind of mainly based around fixtures. Now Callum Wilson is back in training, but the next 3 fixtures for Newcastle are pretty good. Again, very kind of short-term thinking. There are a lot of games coming up for Newcastle as well, and Isak, since his injury, hasn't really hit the ground running, you know what I mean? And with Wilson back, I do think there will be a little bit of rotation, but like I said, the forward options this year, they're not plentiful. There's a lot of poor kind of forward options, so picking that second striker is becoming extremely difficult. But Newcastle's fixtures, Fulham, Luton and Nottingham Forest as the next 3, so if you do fancy a little bit of a gamble, that's what this one would be. It would be a big gamble. Playing the fixtures, I think if I was going to go for a short-term pick, I probably would prefer to go for Dominic Solanke. Cheaper price point, less likely probably to see a price rise and decrease as well over the next few weeks. I think as well the good underlying data, the positive performances from Bournemouth as well, and the fact that he takes penalties and plays a majority of the games, with Isak probably going to see some rotation with Callum Wilson. I do think he offers himself up as a great short-term option. If you're looking for a set and forget second striker, I think Ollie Watkins is the man, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. Still the data's there. Yes, he has blanked in his last two, but I do expect with some positive fixtures coming up for Aston Villa, he will get himself back on the score sheet. And moving on to our second section of today's video, we're going to be talking about AFC Bournemouth and why I think you should potentially take a punt on some of their players for the next few game weeks. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is Bournemouth. They're a, bottom half Premier League side. Why would we ever consider potentially taking on some of their assets? Well, I'm going to convince you otherwise. I think it is now time to buy Bournemouth players, personally. The next three fixtures are absolutely immense for them coming up. Luton, Nottingham Forest and Fulham at home. Some absolutely fantastic fire fixtures. Arguably some of the best teams that you could be playing in the Premier League right now. Some massive relegation potential 6-pointers, and their kind of Premier League survival could depend on these next three fixtures. If they could win all of these, they definitely put themselves away from that relegation battle and start to enter other conversations within the Premier League as well. So they've got the fixtures, great. Then we're talking about the 3-0 win away at Manchester United, where they were honestly phenomenal. Iraola has done a fantastic job setting up this side. They were so attacking. They outscored Manchester United on XG as well, created plenty of opportunities, had a goal disallowed as well, so it could have even been worse for Manchester United. So again, positive display, good fixtures, and to go with that as well, they're now 5 unbeaten in the Premier League, with wins over Manchester United and Newcastle, and a 2-2 draw over Aston Villa as well. So I definitely think, Iraola's turned this team around. There was a point in the season earlier where it looked like he potentially could be sacked, but now they've got some good fixtures. Their players are starting to kind of develop under his system and his kind of philosophy of playing the game. I do think it is now time to start investing. So let's take a look at some of the assets we potentially could jump on for the next few game weeks. Now, there are 3 that I have outlined. There obviously are other players that play for Bournemouth, but for me, these 3 are probably the key 3 that I would be potentially looking to identify. Coincidentally, they are also the 3 highest scoring players for Bournemouth over the past 5 game weeks. Starting off with Dominic Solanke, we kind of touched on him in the last segment as a potential Darwin replacement. I think that is a real fantastic move for the next few game weeks. He has started the season absolutely brilliantly. Even when Bournemouth weren't firing and picking up results, Dominic Solanke was still getting goals. He's on penalties as well, which massively fits the talisman theory, something I absolutely love as well. 4 goals for him in the past 5 game weeks. Really good underlying data as well to go with that. 6.5 million and under 10% owned, so it would be a fantastic differential. And I think with the lack of forward options that we kind of briefly touched on in the last section, I definitely think Dominic Solanke could be that 3rd striker spot that we've kind of been looking for, or even maybe the 2nd one, and kind of just hold and hope that he kind of performs over the next few. You definitely could see him, with the way that Bournemouth are set up at the moment, potentially grabbing a few more goals over the course of this season. So could be a player that we bring in and kind of just set and forget for the next few weeks. With him being on penalties as well, could be a really, really good player to potentially target. Moving on to a player that FPL mate was super close to bringing in this week. It is Tavernier. 2 goals, 2 assists for him. Really good underlying data as well. Takes a lot of free kicks and corners for Bournemouth as well. So he's kind of more the creative kind of spark within that side, but isn't afraid of putting the ball in the back of the net. 5.4 million for him. So if you are still potentially holding Mbeumo, maybe Diaby, maybe some of these other players that a few of us have potentially looked to get rid this week, maybe you've still got a few lingering on the bench, or maybe even got like a 4.5, 4.2. I've seen a few teams when I've been reviewing them on stream have these kind of players in their team. So I definitely think going for him as kind of a little bit of an upgrade, if you've got the money in the bank, could be great, because he has looked fantastic. Like I said, on set pieces, on corners as well, and good underlying data and good fixtures to go with that. Now the final one, I think he has been massively overperforming. It is Sensei. We're going to go Sensei. Probably absolutely butchering that, as I always do on this channel, but we're going to go with him. He is the defender from Bournemouth that has scored 2 goals in back-to-back game weeks, both from set pieces pieces, so definitely offers himself as a little bit of attacking threat there. But as you can see, there isn't too much to kind of write home about in terms of underlying data. But the interesting point for me is the fact that he's at 4.3 million and 0.3% owned. And we've known how kind of poor defenders are this game week. Matty Cash as well, not in the squad again. Crystal Palace's fixtures taking a turn, so a lot of us are going to be looking to get rid of Anderson, Gahey, Cash over the next few game weeks. And with 3 positive fixtures over a busy Christmas period, he could offer himself up as a very, very nice cheap replacement, I think. At 4.3 million, maybe you could even upgrade maybe Charlie Taylor now that he's suspended for next game week if you were planning on potentially playing him. He just offers himself as a nice cheap option if you wanted to go down that route. But I think I would prefer the other two, a little bit more attacking. Probably Dominic Solanke is though the top asset that I would be absolutely gagging to get in my team. If you did enjoy today's video, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe and help us hit 3K before the end of the year. If you have any questions about your teams as well, get them in the comments, as we do try to answer every single comment in our videos. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck this game week.